Remi Bader is a talk of the town. She's on everybody's lips, okay? Is very hot right now. She's in controversy, one might say. Now, you're probably wondering, who is Remi Bader? Remi Bader is a TikTok influencer. She rose to fame in the pandemic. I think she started creating TikTok videos and then repurposing on other social media platforms in 2020. And she really rose to fame due to her trying on clothes and doing hauls as a plus size woman. Okay. As a woman who is not, I basically have the average body, but it's hard to categorize somebody who I don't know and say they're a plus size, because everybody's saying that they're a plus size. I don't know Remi Bader. And I just feel weird telling another girl that you're plus size because everybody's saying plus size. But I would just say, as a woman who is not, commercialized these thin influencers, okay? She's a white woman, brunette, I believe. And so she rose to fame trying on all of these clothes that she would buy for herself. And let me just say, the clothes were popping. They were so good. Okay. And she would try them and talk about her feelings and her opinions about trying on these clothes that are though they don't really look good on her when she tries them on. Some will look good, some will look good. Either way, she would share her thoughts, and her thoughts were very relatable. A lot of people connected to her thoughts, and I liked those videos only because she's sharing the things that I also go through when I try on new clothes. Okay, so she really rose to fame. I mean, like 2 million, 3 million views per TikTok video. Okay, so just think about that. And that would be pretty much, I would say, a prong of her content. Another content would be her sharing her boyfriend at the time. Like she had a boyfriend all throughout the pandemic, and then she broke up with him, I think, this time last year. And another prong, I don't know what another prong would be, but I don't know. Again, I want to preface by saying that I don't watch Remi Bader's content. Her content shows up on my feed, so I don't seek it out. Not because I don't like her or anything. She seems like a sweet girl, but I'm not her target audience. You know what I mean? So ever so often, her videos will show up on my FYP page, and the first video I ever saw of Remi Bader was actually her doing a try-on video. As a person who has like an average size body, I would say average size body that's not thin, and who's sharing her thoughts and opinions about what she's wearing. Now, after I watched that video, I went to go do a deep dive, and I'll talk about the controversy in a second, but this is good background information to know. I went to go do a deep dive of her account and see what other things she posts. She was proud of her body, and she was sharing the stories that she has in the past and currently, and the issues that she's dealing with when it came to her being of a certain size and be treated differently by her friends and family, and having to eat certain things, and how she would feel when she eats certain things. And she came across to me as a person who is comfortable in her body, but also that was a bit self-deprecating and self-loathing about her body. Like, it was quite clear to me that even though she's okay and comfortable in her skin, or maybe not, like, I don't know, that's what it appeared to be. It was quite clear to me that she definitely wanted to lose the weight. Okay, she definitely wanted to lose the weight. Now, everybody's saying that Remi Bader is part of this body positivity movement just because you do not have the thin body, you're not, and you're quote unquote plus size that everybody loves to say. Either literally plus size is anybody over the size of 12, and that means that anybody can be plus size. Most people are literally plus size, so I don't like that. I would say average body. So because you have like the average body, and you're not, I guess, overly complaining about that body, and you're saying that you love your body, you're part of this body positivity movement. And as part of this movement, there are responsibilities and there are things that you need to take into effect as being part of this movement. and you have a greater responsibility. So to me, I don't really look at Remi Bader as a person who was part of the body positivity movement. I think she just continued to doing the outfit, those try on hauls, like I said, on with clothes that usually would be for thin, the commercialized, your Americanized thin body type, and she would be buying it for her size and trying them on. I think she just did it because of the views. And sure, she maybe liked doing it, but I don't think this is something that she always wanted to do. Versus other TikTokers who I would say is more body positivity, is more really the leaders of body positivity movement. There's a black TikToker, I think some of you guys may know her, who goes to department stores and retail stores and goes find her size, and she would go there and answer comments and be like, oh, somebody in the comment section said there's a size of pants in this store, let me go see, and there isn't. So that was one of the things that made her viral, and now she's doing music, I think, and some of you guys may know what I'm talking about. If you do, comment down below. So I would say that TikToker is definitely more of a person who is part of the body positivity movement, but Remi Bader, I wouldn't say so. So just this is great background information to keep in mind. Now, Remi Bader started to lose weight about a year and a half ago, like slowly started to lose weight. And I knew that when I saw a video of hers last year, and she looked considerably thinner. She looked like she lost a lot of weight. And because I'm chronically online, I would know what she did to lose all that weight, because I just like to know this information, and I would just know, even though I'm not an active viewer of her content, I would know. So I know she didn't share anything. So she came on the Khloe Kardashian podcast, which I honestly forget the name of that podcast, but she came on the Khloe Kardashian podcast, and she finally, disclosed how she was able to lose nearly over 100 pounds. I think it's about 100 pounds or 150 pounds. So I'm just finding the Khloe Kardashian podcast, and she went on there to disclose how she lost it, and she lost it through bypass surgery, a very specialized bypass surgery. And the Khloe Kardashian podcast is called Khloe in Wonderland. So she was sharing her story, and then once she shared her story, the internet went crazy, and her community is quite hurt by it. They felt they were backstabbed, and they felt that they could have been another way in which she could have done this, and I agree. So let me explain this. Now, if another celebrity came out and said, hey, I did bypass surgery and lost all this weight, nobody would care. When it's a TikToker who shares a lot of their life and usually shares one of the most life-changing things, shares some of the most life-changing things that are happening to them on the internet, and you don't share this, that's weird. Now, I say this to say because Remi Bader shared one of the most heartbreaking things that she went through over the past couple of years, which was her breakup of her boyfriend. And she shared it very publicly, and she made so many videos. And her community, including me, even though I don't know if I'm part of her community, but I was like, you go, girl, like, don't worry, you don't need him, you're better without him, right? And everybody rallied against her and supported her, right? And she made so many videos, and she described, what she was feeling after the breakup. She described why they broke up, what's been going on in their relationship, and what she's going to be doing moving forward. Like, she was very detailed about her thinking. And I'm not saying that every TikToker or social media content creator must do this, where they need to share every bit of part of what they're doing. But if you have a content creator who's been doing it for so long, and that has helped them propel them for so long, I am one of those consumers who honestly do believe that you need to continue to share and be consistent, because Remi Bader's values or principles of her content, core tenets of her content, is honesty and transparency, right? And she's not honest, she's not transparent with everything that's happening in her life, but she's transparent on the few things that have made her famous, right? That is her weight, right? The food that she consumes, she does mukbangs, her thoughts on the weight and the food, her dating life. These are things that propelled her into where she is. It has contributed. So people feel like they're on this journey, they're connected. And I'll talk about, it does feed into this, this relationship one has with somebody who, the parasocial relationship a consumer has with a person who produces content and shares their life online. It does, but it doesn't have to be an unhealthy thing. What people don't understand, if you're sharing your content online and you want your community to grow and you want your community to trust you and you want your community to buy whatever you want them to sell, that requires trust, that requires a connection, right? And that requires a parasocial relationship. And people look at parasocial relationship at these bad things. They're not a bad thing. Like, we are all have parasocial relationships with each and every content creator. You know what I mean? And in the sense that there's trust there. We depend on their content. We watch their content. We like their content. We know them at some level, at the level that they want us to know, right? So you have Remi Bader, who then decides to do weight loss surgery, doesn't tell anybody for a year and a half, slowly drops weight over a year and a half, and goes on Khloe Kardashian's podcast, which the Kardashians are great and all, and I love that they're girl bosses, they have great business acumen, but at the end of the day, it's not the great podcast for Remi to have gone on to disclose the fact that she went on weight loss. She did this weight loss surgery. Why? Because the Kardashians are not very transparent and honest in how they usually lose weight themselves. So her going on this podcast and sharing her journey and her thoughts about losing weight and not telling her entire community, where she usually tells her entire community about her feelings about her weight, feels weird, right? And it does feel like a rebrand of sort, which I'll come back around. But I do want to say the reason why it's also backstabbing the fact that, you know, her community doesn't trust her enough to Remi doesn't trust her community enough to share this information. That's one component as to why people were upset. And number two is the fact that she was also misleading people too. She was like, apparently, this is not what I've seen, but this is what her community has said based off of what she's done. Apparently, Remi has liked comments where she said she's working out. Apparently, she's also tried a weight loss drug, which was quite transparent about, saying that she tried a weight loss drug, but after it didn't go, she was quite nauseous, didn't have a great experience like some other people, and stopped using it and gained back a lot of the weight. So people thought she was on a weight loss drug, and apparently Remi was also liking the comments and So there's that too. So people think that they were lied to. People thought that it was her going on the podcast with Khloe betrayed their trust, and also they're kind of like, who is this Remi now? And which I'll talk about in a second, but those are, and number four, I was thinking about the number four, and the fact that they've been lied to, they've been misled, right? Because of what she's done over the last year and a half, liking people's comments and having people believe another story of what actually happened. So on the rebrand and on changing who you are on social media, it's fine to do that. And people love to say this and say, oh, people are just mad because people love to control women's body. That's really reductive, and that just ignores the valid criticisms and the valid concerns that people, especially her community, has in regards to what she's done. And I'm not saying like Remi Bader is a bad person. Like, seems like a good person, but I think the way she went about doing all of this was wrong, because I think she forgot that the way she got viral was with all of these try-on videos with clothes on a body that is usually bigger than what we see in the media. And it was kind of refreshing and it was kind of amazing. And her thoughts were really relatable, right? And so to not disclose the things that are happening with your weight, which is fine. But here's the thing. You have to then just state that too. Like, as a consumer, I look at all of this through the eyes of a person. Again, I'm in the real world, okay? Yes, I occasionally do content on the internet, but I'm in the real world, okay? And I'm also a consumer first. So what Remi should have done, which I'll lay out my plan in a second, what Remi should have done was, if she didn't want to disclose that she wanted to share her journey, because it seems like her bypass surgery, the recovery after that, she went through a lot of hell, to say the least. And it was different bypass surgery, and her doctor said that the recovery would be good, but it wasn't great for her. She should have disclosed that to her community and say, hey, I'm not going to share how I lost the weight right now. I will at my own time. Instead, she ignored the elephant in the room and the weight question, the weight topic, for the entire year, over a year and a half. And she led people to their own conclusions. Sorry, just, what's it called? My knuckles? What's it called? Crack my knuckles? So if she doesn't want to share anymore about her weight, even though that's what made her famous, then she should have just told everybody, like, hey, I want to change things up. I love y'all. I know y'all follow me through my hauls, but I don't want to talk about my weight. And if I do, I'll let you know. Be transparent. Because your community is what propelled you here. Propelled you to get all the money, all the brands, all the opportunities. Now to just say to them, hey, I'm going to ignore your questions about the weight. The one thing that the content that made me famous and brought me here is weird. And not only that, not only what she was doing, she was also blocking people who had valid questions and criticisms about how she discussed her losing weight. And again, reducing all of people's valid criticisms and concerns to, people love to control a woman's body. No, like, people can have complex thoughts. It's not about controlling women's body. It's the fact that people felt like you backstabbed, that you lied to them, that you misled them, and now people feel like they don't have trust for you, and that's what I'm seeing. Because again, I'm chronically online, even though I don't watch all of her content. I know the ins and outs of what's happening in certain communities online. And so you're probably wondering, okay, how should a person like Remi Bader come out and disclose that she lost weight? Well, right before she did the surgery, or she was recovering, or after she recovered, I would have said, yes, guys, hope you guys are doing great. I would do a video and be like, hope you guys are doing great. And had made like a little statement about it and say, as you can see, I'm losing weight. I'm not comfortable yet on losing, on sharing how I lost the weight, but I know you guys see me losing weight. I do want to address it, but I'm not comfortable yet. I'm still healing and grieving from it. And when I'm ready, I'll let you guys know. And then do not be liking, do not be boosting, do not like anything about exercise, do not like anything about Mounjaro drug, the weight loss drug, or anything like that. Just be posting your usual content. But first, when you start losing the weight, people start seeing you that you've lost weight, make a statement that, yes, I've done something to help lose all this weight, but I'm not in the right mindset right now, or in the right space mentally or comfortable to talk about it. So state that. As whenever you're ready, okay, a year and a half comes by, do not block anybody who brings up concerns about their weight. They have they're valid to state those questions in the comments. And that's number 2. Number 3, I would not go on Chloe in Wonderland. In fact, I would go on a friend's podcast, like The Toast. So I'm aware of The Toast, the podcast with Jackie and Claude Oshry. that would have been really good to go on, where you can discuss how you've lost the weight, because that's your friends and that's in the same like influencer group, I believe. And also Claudia Alstri also lost the weight drastically over a year and a half, lost about 100 pounds with the Mounjaro drug instead of bypass, and she was very transparent. But the reason why hers, and she didn't tell that she was losing the weight, so we just saw her lose the weight. So with that being said, you know, she then created a video or videos describing how she lost the weight, what she was on eventually a year and a half later too. But there was no backlash. Why? Because Claudia was more self-loathing and like was desperately wanting to be thin. Like she had made many comments about it. Okay, so this is not a girl who is like, I love my body and this is so great. And FYI, I MJ do love my body. But Claudia wasn't like that. And I love girls who do love their body. And I do think Claudia, I think, is one of those people who appreciates her body. But she desperately wanted to be thin. Anyway, so we all knew that. Like, her community knew that. So when she finally lost the weight, we put two and two together, and it was the Mounjaro drug. It wasn't the big thing. So Remi should have gone to on a podcast on one of her friends in the influencer sphere who've also lost weight and had a conversation. So maybe like Remi and Claudia Alstri should have like a podcast episode of her talking about it, and then made a TikTok video about it as well. And then do not share your progress of the things that have happened to you on how you recovered through this surgery like Remi's doing now. Sharing a video of her losing the weight and the recovery, I think, is like, I don't know what the point of that is, honestly. And I think that would be it. I think that's like a really good way of showing it, because I think a lot of people, a lot of content creators, a lot of influencers forget the core tenets of their platform, of their brand. And some influencers, some content creators can pull it off where they're not transparent, when they're not honest, right? And some can pull it off, but most content creators and most influencers cannot pull it off, okay? And so you have to be transparent. You have to be honest with your community, so that trust strengthens over time. And then when you're asking your community to help you out, or when you ask community to buy this or do this, then they'll do it. It's not because they love you, because they trust you, right? So that's really important. So that's like Remi Better situation. That was like a entire controversial scandal that was all over TikTok anyway. I don't know about the internet. I'm not on Twitter. Definitely on YouTube. Definitely on Instagram. Okay? And so that was the Remi Better situation. Now, I want to go into another topic. As we all know, the black pastor, what's his name? Oh, it was that black pastor. So it was a black pastor. I think it's called Chevron. Anyways, black pastor who closes doors at a church and says that everybody must give $20. I think every single black pastor does that. And I know that because I'm a black girl who goes to a black church. Okay? I know that. Every single pastor. So the fact that everybody is now shocked, like, oh my God! No, like, I don't understand the outrage. Every single black church slowly nudges their people to force them to give some type of offering. Okay, so now I don't know I think y'all know the black pastor I'm talking about, but should be in the title. I don't know if he was arrested. Apparently, I saw something on TikTok saying that he was charged with kidnapping, which is insane. I mean, does that mean that every single pastor pastor should see this and be like, I'm not gonna do it again? But yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it. Like, it's not like he can take your phone or wallet from you. Like, he was saying that everybody should give $20. I do believe, though, that I'm one of those people who are of the position that if you have to give, then you give. If you don't have $20, then you have to give $20. If you can give a lot more, then you can give a lot more. But you shouldn't be pressured into giving money, especially if you don't have. Offering is good, but it's good to give offering, and tithes. But if you don't have the money, you shouldn't be giving the money. That's like obvious. But I know some churchgoers, especially some older churchgoers, they'd be like, if you come into church, make sure you give 10%. There are some churches where the bank account, your bank account as a member of the church is linked to the church, and you have to give 10%, which is insane. I don't know how those people are going to heaven. So that's my opinion on that, because I didn't understand the outrage, because if you go to a black church, that's what the black pastors be doing for centuries. Slowly nudge you and be like, okay guys, I'm seeing. Oh, the Lord just told me someone's gonna give $1,000. If that's you, come to the front. The Lord also told me that someone's here is gonna give $10,000. Jesus. Like, pastor, they do that. They do that. Wake up, it's better coffee. Office siren. If you're dressing like an office siren, the office siren on TikTok, you would get fired. I tell people, TikTok is not a real place. It's a place that we've created. It's not a real place. So if you're dressing like an office siren, tube top, and a mini skirt at a corporate, you'll be fired. And while like, I know some of you guys are like, oh, but it's a women's show. As an employee of a company that hired you, you are an agent of that company. Yes, it's wrong that people in society should judge you based off what you're wearing, but that is the world. That is the world. So if you're dressing with a tube top, mini skirt, you will get fired. And I think that was obvious, but apparently a girl did it. And she shared her story on TikTok, and she was 2 months away of making $200K. She was an intern or something. And she was fired about like a month or 2 months before because of what she was wearing. Next topic. I'm crazy. Now we're talking about Justin Baldoni and the Blake Lively situation. Yes, I'm aware that Brian Friedman posted a response to Ryan Reynolds' motion to dismiss. I'll talk about it now briefly right now. I might make a separate video and talk about it there after I've skimmed it, but I haven't like really read it. You know what I mean? So before we get to the motion, the response to the motion, America Ferrera, who is Blake Lively's best friend apparently, remember when all this hit in December or earlier this year in January? Oh my God, January feels like 3 years ago. But earlier this year in January and December, America Ferrera, Alexis Bledel, and the other girl, a white girl. Honestly, I love all of them from Sisterhood of Traveling Pants, as y'all know. But anyways, the actors, the main girlies from the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, made an Instagram post together in collaboration and stated that they support Blake. And now what is happening to Blake is wrong and horrific and bad. America removed her post. America Ferrera, which we all know from Ugly Betty, Sister of the Traveling Pants, removed that post off her Instagram page. Now, America Ferrera is not a girly who's looking for aesthetic Instagram pages, right? This is not like an influencer who is like, that's ruining my feed look. Like, let me remove it. No, this is her girly who is really much like a social justice warrior. Like, she speaks up for issues. She's quite smart, quite independent, gorgeous. I love her. I love America Ferrera. I love me some America Ferrera. I was honestly quite shocked that she was supporting Blake Lively, but they're friends, and that's what friends do, right? When you believe your friend, when your friend tells you something, you believe them. Anyways, so America Ferrera removed her post. Here are my proposed reasons, okay? Here are my theories. Number one, it's a lawsuit. We're an active lawsuit. So having that post up, that she could be honestly subpoenaed. She could be deposed and testify. Number two, so it's probably removed it for that. Number two, maybe it's affecting her company. I think America Ferrera has a production company or some type of company. So maybe it's affecting her profits from the company. Number three, she doesn't believe Blake Lively. Or having the post up looks like she's go ho Blake Lively, like she's a cheerleader for Blake Lively. So those are my three theories, and I really do think she pulled it down for business reasons. Like that is That is what I'm saying that she pulled the post down for. So that's one of like the big news that happened in the last week or so. America Ferrera definitely pulled that post. I'm not really shocked. Okay, moving on. The response, Brian Friedman's response to Ryan Reynolds' motion. Like I talked about in the last episode, Ryan Reynolds' motion to dismiss was insane. The language, I'm like, this is the jokes. Like it was like Ryan Reynolds wrote it himself. Like his dry humor is not funny. It's not. Like this is not a movie. We're in a lawsuit, and I get it. You have your $1 billion and all, but this is not funny. So his motion was just all over the place to me. But Brian Friedman like brought it down to earth and was quite detailed. He has strong arguments. One of those strong arguments is the fact that they really want California law to be applied to the case. So Brian Friedman is really asking for California law to be applied to the case. Ryan Reynolds is saying that New York law should apply to the case. And Ryan Reynolds is saying that it was my opinion that I thought, it's my opinion, like I think that Justin Baldoni is a predator. Brian then puts in the response, number one, it's not predator. You said sexual predator. And I think he said a different type of predator too, but it wasn't sexual. It's something else. I forgot. And then number two is the fact that you're not just anybody who has an opinion. You're a celebrity with access, power, following. And if MJ says Justin Baldoni is a sexual predator, even though I'm not on anybody's side, as y'all know, when it comes to this case, then no, who cares? Who cares? But you're Ryan Reynolds. You're the billionaire. You're the actor. You're the one with all the access and the power. So there is a difference. And so there's that. So I do think Brian Friedman has better arguments than Ryan Reynolds' arguments. I do think it does look like, from my opinion so far, it's going to go to trial. We're in the stage where everybody's being deposed. People are gathering evidence. I can't wait for things to be aired in the public so I can see it. I don't want them to drop this. Are you kidding? Like I need to know what's going on. I'm just like you girlies. Girls, next thing. People magazine wrote an article from the perspective of a lawyer, entertainment lawyer, and said that Justin Baldoni has no case. As a person who's been following the case and as a person who now know how PR works, no one took any of that to heart. Nobody who's smart anyway. So apparently there's also another documentary about this entire saga, but I know there's a Hulu documentary that really broke down Justin Baldoni and the Blake Lively lawsuit and the entire situation with It Ends With Us. And they didn't do a great job because my sister watched it. I don't have access to Hulu. Yeah, I don't have access to Hulu. Does Canada have access to Hulu? I don't even know. Anyways, I didn't watch the damn documentary. So my sister describing it, and I'm like hearing her takes from it, and she doesn't know. She's not following the lawsuit as closely as I am, and she's taking it. She doesn't know a lot of the facts. So the Hulu documentary, I think it wasn't terrible. It wasn't great either. Looking at both sides, they were like, But apparently that's another one. The People article was kind of like, no, Justin Baldoni does have a case, very strong one, against both Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, and the lawyer breaking down the components of sexual harassment. I don't know, man. So yes, I am still closely watching everything. And even though I'm not making, oh my gosh, we're making day-to-day videos about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. I might do that for this motion, response motion from Brian Friedman, but I'm aware of what's going on. Don't you worry, guys. Yeah, the entire situation is so insane. I ain't gonna hold you. And the fact that I do feel like it is gonna go to trial, and we're gonna have the trial of the century. And I know that we had Johnny Depp. That one was like just, that's a different story. That's like pure abuse from both sides. Like that's serious. But like this is serious. But like, is it less than serious? I don't know. Sexual harassment is serious though. Let's be honest, it's serious. That's my thoughts. Let me guys know. I know we spent a lot talking about Remi Bader, but like the situation was insane, and I do understand why people, their community, are upset about it completely. Because a lot of people believe that once you become famous for doing something, and then you just like, you can't just turn your back away against your community and just tell them and gaslight them and just say you're wrong. And block them. You can't do that. You have to explain. At least explain. And then your community will come to their own opinions and will understand your side, or try to understand your side eventually. But to just be a whole different person. Like for instance, right now, Remi Bader's outfits are not really for me. I love the outfits that she was putting on when she first started. It was like really colorful, and like it just like hugged all of her curves. It looks so good. But now it kind of looks like every other influencer that lives in New York. Oh, that's just my elbow. I did not fart, y'all. It sounds like a fart. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like our outfits right now are lacking originality. They're not for me. But I do still. This is not me bashing Remi. This is just like, this is a conversation to have when it comes to like influencers who do this. Who think that there's something when actually in reality on their platform there's something else. And I think it's a good conversation to have. And so that's it. Stay woke. No, I used to say stay woke, so I'll say stay home. I'm not gonna say that. I'm just gonna say, girls, have a good week, girls. Have a good week, and I'll see you guys in the next. Don't forget to like, comment. If you guys want me to do like a separate video on Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively, let me know. Comment down below. Subscribe. See you guys in the next week. Bye, y'all.